What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for the Sunday morning video. That's right, the weekend review where we touch on whatever a couple news stories may have slipped through the cracks or anything that's changed, and then float through the three main markets and sometimes throw in a couple extra things, touch on a few key cards, a few key players, see what's moving and shaking around the sports card world. With that being said, let's just go ahead and dive in this week on the newsy front. Let's see. What do we want to start with? Beckett has apparently opened up economy level service. I'm not going to touch a ton on this because I think I'm going to talk about it in its own video tomorrow. So look forward to that. But almost positive that's what Monday's video is going to be. But Beckett has supposedly opened up economy service. And on top of that, now it's not directly sports card related, but it's Beckett related. The head and president of CBCS, which is their comic book grading division, has left the company, which is kind of a big deal. I'll kind of save that for tomorrow as well to kind of knock both those out in one foul swoop. So we'll talk a little Beckett and a little CBCS tomorrow because I think it's kind of relatable between the two for, just Beckett's general presentation as a company, recently has not been great. And the CBCS move is also not a good look on the comic book side. Those people are not taking that move. I don't want to say not taking it well, but they're definitely side-eyeing CBCS as a whole right now. And there's a lot going on there. Kind of like there was a lot going on the Beckett side. So, like I said, we'll save that for tomorrow's video. The other big stuff this week, the Platinum Breaks and the Luber teaming up with Backyard Breaks. The Luber teaming up with Backyard Breaks has seemed to begun to lose some steam as people are already on to the next thing, and the next thing was Platinum Breaks. I did the video earlier that basically presented both sides and said, you need to make your own decision here on what you think's going wrong. I kind of gave him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Since then, some more stuff has come out that is not great, and it does make it a lot more difficult to kind of take them at their word that why would they screw up their business over a $700 Fields card. The more that's come out with that, the more doubts that I definitely have about that. And, my opinion has shifted slightly on that one. But yeah, some wild stuff coming out, mostly from Sports Card Radio and a few other places regarding Platinum Breaks. So we'll see how all that shakes out. Odds are some new hobby drama will emerge in the next week or so, and people will move on to that thing. And then, I'm sure they'll lose a little bit of business, maybe not. And then people will kind of forget about it. It'll float to the back until they do something else again. Same with Backyard Breaks and the Luber situation. So, that's kind of how this stuff goes. It's the biggest deal in the world until the next thing pops up and everyone goes squirrel and immediately chases the next story down the street or whatever it is. It's got everyone's attention, and they forget about, whatever the thing was that made them mad. I don't want to say permanently forgot, but it just fades and then gets replaced by the next piece of drama. So that's those two big things from the past week. And then, like I said, the Beckett thing reopening up. I continue to get really good feedback from the Peter SGC interview that I did. Once again, shout out to them for coming on the channel. That was over a week ago now, but I still get a lot of messages and stuff about that video in particular on how people enjoyed that. So once again, if you haven't made your all the way through that video, I encourage you to go check it out. And then the other big thing was 2-year channel anniversary this year. We hit the 2-year mark. I think mid-June is when I started doing the weekly Sunday videos. So we're a couple weeks away from 2 straight years of these. I think I've only missed one Sunday the entire time, and it was during the National. NBA playoffs. Luca's down 2-0. As I'm recording this, the Celtics and Heat are about to tip off. So I don't know the results of that game quite yet. We're going to talk a lot, mostly NBA today in the charts and graphs breakdown. And then on the other side, like I said, the Celtics Heat game's about to tip off. I like the Celtics in that one a lot. I think Dallas really screwed the pooch the other night. They had their chance to make that a series. Maybe they'll still be okay. That team's been weird, and it kind of takes them a couple games to figure things out. But I think the fact that they're a player short is really showing this series against Golden State, just due to the amount of weapons that Golden State has. between Curry and Poole and Thompson and Draymond and, you know, who the hell saw this one coming? Andrew Wiggins, of all people, are all playing really, really good. So it looks like we could be heading towards the Warriors finals. Steph Curry's cards ticked up a little bit this week. Once again, we'll kind of talk about that in a little bit deeper. And then a lot of people are starting to backslide now that they've been eliminated from the playoffs. Giannis stuff took a pretty big hit. We'll talk about him. But yeah, that's kind of where we are in the NBA situation. NFL, we're in the middle of no man's land. I should have led with this actually. Dallas show was this weekend. I talked to, there's a couple different dealers, one in particular that's really great about messaging me with like, hey, here's the vibes from the Dallas show. Here's what's moving and shaking. He said it's been very, very busy. Today was exceptionally busy, as in Saturday. A lot of 2020 quarterbacks is pretty much what most people are looking for, just kind of generally, broadly speaking, across the board. $100 to $500 stuff was moving really well, and then people looking to trade up into higher end. The one thing that he said caught him off guard was the lack of people selling. He said he thought there would be more people like fire selling to dealers, and they were not seeing that. Once again, this is one dealer. I trust what he has to say to me, but other people's experiences are going to be different to show. So if someone comes out in a video and says the exact opposite, it wouldn't surprise me. It's really going to vary dealer to dealer. I messaged a few other people. I just haven't heard back from them yet because they're still there to kind of get the Dallas vibes, but I'm sure we'll get, you know, the avalanche of content this week in regards to what was moving and shaking at Dallas. But at minimum, it was extremely busy. I've heard that from multiple people that Dallas is extremely, extremely busy. My next big show is about a month away. I am going to go to, or at least I'm planning on going to, the Midwest Monster in Fishers, Indiana, which is just outside Indianapolis. It's a 350 table show, headlined by a lot of the, you know, the major people that you would expect to see: Card Collector 2, Santiago Sports, RBI Crew, Kentucky Roadshow, and a handful of others look like they're all in attendance for that show, along with a lot of other people. So I'm most likely going to be attending that show. I'm about 90%. Hotel room's not booked yet, but I'm looking to do that here pretty quickly and make the trip out for that. It's about a 4-hour drive for me, so I figured not too bad. With all that being said, that very long preamble, let's get a word from My Slabs and then go ahead and dive into some charts and graphs.
The platform designed by collectors for collectors just got even better. MySlabs.com is proud to now feature dedicated sections for both raw cards and raw comic books. Browse over 100,000 slab collectibles, authenticated by the industry's most trusted grading companies. Then check out a massive selection of sealed wax and now raw singles and raw lots. Join a passionate, no-nonsense community of nearly 50,000 members and enjoy some of the best buyer and seller protection in the business. And as always, My Slabs offers one of the most disruptive pricing models in the hobby, with seller fees as low as only 1%. So the next time you're forced to pay 10%, 20%, or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com, the low-fee marketplace by collectors for collectors.
Once again, shout out to My Slabs for sponsoring today's video. Let's go ahead and dive in and look at some charts and graphs. First up, basketball. Once again, I'm going to lead off with the market pulse indexes for each sport that we're going to talk about. I still like the idea of using these as kind of a macro level, and I like doing a rolling 30 days on these to kind of, you know, 7 days doesn't necessarily tell you the full story, but I like the idea of looking at the 30 days to kind of show how things are going. Once again, it's continuing the trend down, not up. Since I started using these, I don't think I've had one that's been in the green. Pink line is modern, blue line is ultra modern for the purposes of this. Like I said, both trending down ever so slightly. Modern is only down 3%, ultra modern's down 10% over the last 30 days. Kind of not too surprising there, as more players are going down as they're exiting the playoffs than are going up, obviously. Because they are moving deeper into the playoffs. It's just kind of that time of year, and the general markets across the board are slightly trending down. Let's look at some individual players. First up, Giannis. His stuff's definitely taken a little bit of a beating. This is the cheapest I've seen his PSA 10 Prism in a long time. Down to $13.75, down 15%. His hoops is down to 380, down 30%, and his select is down 8%. Now, a note on the select, the last one sold on the 13th. So that is a little bit of lag there on that one. So if one sold today, it would probably be, I would guess, around $700 or under. Giannis is definitely a player that I will have my eyes open for if things slip through the cracks. You know, I talked about on the Friday video about most of the markets going down and you know, kind of reevaluating your inventory and looking for deals on things to slip through the cracks. Giannis is definitely one of them. I have one Prism rookie card of his that I've had forever. One of the first big expensive card I bought when I got back in early 2019. And I would not mind getting some more Giannis at some point in time. The guy has 2 MVPs. He has the ring, and he is the future face of the league if he's not already the face of the modern league. But this playoffs has kind of really shown the next group of guys that's coming with him, Luca, Ja Morant to a lesser degree, but really him and Luca and Tatum, obviously, of course. Like those 4, you could really see kind of beginning the transition into the next phase. As now, don't get me wrong, Curry has a good chance at winning an NBA title this year. But as Curry begins to wind down, as KD begins to wind down, as LeBron winds down, those guys are going to have to hand the league off to somebody. And right now, to me, Giannis is already the best player in the league. And I don't really think it's that close. But he's going to be the face of the NBA for the next little bit. I think he's only 27, if my memory is correct. And he has the advantage of being from the 2013 class, which means lower print runs. So like even his base Prism only is pop 2,700. It's a lot, but it's not like a lot, not like by today's standards. So Giannis is definitely a player that I have my eyes on to continue to slip. And I will be waiting with open arms if something good falls into my lap. Moving along, Luca. Silver PSA 10 Prism. Slightly trending up. This is going back 2 weeks, actually. Up 16%, back up to 3K. I don't expect this number to hold at all. And in fact, some of the people that I talked to at Dallas were saying that Luca was the #1 person people were looking to sell. With him being down 2-0 to the Warriors now, not necessarily a good look for him. And people are trying to be smart and get ahead of things. But that's not always the easiest thing to do when the entire room is doing it. So it'll be interesting to see if his prices, what they do over the next little bit. And he's another one. If Luca stuff would get super cheap for some reason, I would very much like to add some more to my inventory. Right now, I only have 2 Luca rookie cards, a PSA 10 Mosaic and a PSA 9 Optic Hollow. I would not mind getting some more stuff. Luca's absolutely fantastic. Just the Mavericks are a little meh. He needs a Robin. He does not have a Robin. He has a bunch of Nightwings and not an actual Robin. So see what the Mavs can do in the offseason to shake things up. Maybe they turn this series around. Who the hell knows? But the Warriors are just really good. So I don't know if I see that happening or not. Tatum, as we talked about, he had a wild ride, man. So he really spiked up, and then he dipped down as that Milwaukee series went on, and it looked like the Bucks are going to win, and then he has now shot right back up again. Like I said, I'm recording this prior to Saturday night's game, where actually that game literally just tipped off. So I don't know what's going to happen in that game yet, but the pundits are saying, you know, Boston looks really in a really good position. They should win the series. They're the better team, yada, yada, this, that, and the other thing. And his stuff has swung back up again. You can see I have his green Prism up. In my opinion, an iconic card. I've seen one of these in person at the Shipshawana show 2 shows ago. Looked so nice. Dealer was a little overpriced on it. I've always really wanted this card. It's always been pricey, but looks fantastic. I think this of a non-autograph card, I think that's the card that you want. It just looks so clean and so nice in hand. But you can see a silver Prism and the green both dipped down about the same time and have now also both shot back up. The silver Prism's back up to just under 2K, and the green is back up to 2,700 after it got down to the low 2s. So Tatum stuff definitely on the upswing. Once again, things could drastically shift again. This is kind of, you know, how it kind of yo-yos around depending on the playoff series. I personally do like the Celtics to win the series overall. We'll see what happens. The Heat are tough. I just think the Celtics are better. And I think that would be a very fun series with them against the Warriors. Tatum versus Steph should be intriguing if it ends up happening. Long way to go. Who the hell knows? I'm sure the Heat people, Kenny Fornos will be in my comments, all mad. And last but not least, we've discussed them a couple times already this evening or this morning. Steph Curry, PSA 10, PSA 9 Topps base. One of the boringest looking cards in the history of sports cards, but it's Steph's air quotes iconic rookie for a non-auto anyway. PSA 10's up 17%. PSA 9 is down slightly at down 6%. Pretty low pop on the PSA 10 at 365. PSA 9, a much higher pop at 1250. So the PSA 10 gets a little extra premium / juice here. Maybe the 9's a little undervalued, but you're kind of, unless you really want Curry long term, you're really playing with fire with these playoff guys. Just not my style. I think you'd be better off to wait to see if they win or get eliminated. Maybe you end up paying more. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But if you really just wanted to buy Curry to own and hold, I'm not sure this is the best time. Because like I said, even if these guys win, a lot of times their card prices come back down again. So, but Curry stuff definitely on the move. And like I said, they do look really, really good against the Mavericks. I thought that would be a closer series. Now, obviously, a closer series is a little bit of a stretch. The Mavs played really well for most of the game yesterday. And then the Warriors warriored in the third quarter, and then it kind of slipped away from them from there. I remember what that's like as a Cavs fan, especially in the 16 finals, when you just felt no lead was safe all those years that they went up against them. And I remember being at those games and being up like, 10 or 15 points. Like in game 6, they were up quite a bit to force the game 7 in 2016. And I just remember still like clenching, being worried that they were going to get hot and go on a run, because that's just what those Warriors teams did, and it always scared the hell out of me. So we'll see how the rest of the series plays out. I hope the Mavs can make it at least spicy, because to me that series is much more entertaining than the Boston-Miami one. That's just a very 90s basketball series, shall we say. And that Warriors-Mavs series is also getting a little chippy. I saw, Draymond and the Dabs Bertans flipping people over his back and stuff when I was watching that game. Wild stuff. Baseball, same thing here. Marker Pulse. Blue is modern, or I'm sorry, ultra modern. Pink is modern. Pink's only down 3%. Ultra modern's down 20%. This is 2020 and older. So I know Teapot mentioned this on his video the other day. This does not include the latest crop of guys. There's just not enough sales history on them yet, but I assume they will expand this index out very soon to include the young crop. So those guys aren't represented in there. I'd be curious how this would swing this if, Wander Franco and Bobby Witt and all those, Julio Rodriguez, all those guys were in there. So we'll see. Modern baseball has been holding okay. Most of that, as we have discussed in previous weeks, is being held up by Mike Trout. Just because his stuff is so expensive, it can really swing the whole index, in my opinion. And then ultra modern is much more all over the place. But modern's holding mostly due to Trout. Like I said, baseball's been kind of weird this season. There are some guys heating up a little bit, like Taylor Ward's come out of the woodwork. I think it's Jeremy Pena's come out of the woodwork. I saw Adley Rutschman got called up this weekend, but I don't know how big of a prospect. I know that he's a big prospect in regards to real life baseball. I'm not sure about cards for him. So we'll see how things go. It's going to be very interesting once Topps Chrome comes out, because that product is looking to be loaded with rookies. It could be an interesting sealed wax play if the full checklist ends up coming out the way a lot of people think it's going to. And the box prices have already shot up. I'm not like rediscovering the wheel here or anything. Those box prices jumped. The time to buy those was a few months ago before all those guys got called up, but obviously we didn't know that at the time. But that product looks absolutely loaded and could potentially be a fun rip if that's your thing. I don't want to say I'll pick up a box, but maybe I will. Ripping baseball is not exactly my shtick, but we'll see. I am intrigued by that product just because of the number of players that are going to be in it. One player I wanted to look at individually, Aaron Judge. He is just crushing the baseball right now. This is his PSA 10 Topps Chrome Refractor and PSA 10 Prism Refractor. Very low population on these. The Prism's 280. The regular Refractor is only 728. Not up a ton. Well, up a lot, but the overall price point's not that high. His regular refractor is only $200, and his Prism refractor is $250. A 66 and a 50% increase. So they've gone up quite a bit, but not very expensive, especially when you compare him to a lot of his peers. Go look at like what a Vladar, a Tatis sell for, and Judge is having a hell of a year. Interesting to see where he ends up going or how that situation ends up playing out with him and his free agency. So moving right along into football. Ultramodern football holding the line, down 1.8%. Not surprising because the 2020 draft class, along with Josh Allen in the 2018 class, has really been carrying the water. Modern 2010 to 2017 dipping hard, mostly due to, as we kind of talked about with Trout, Patrick Mahomes. Look what happened, ladies and gentlemen. We actually got a non-shilled 2017 Prism Silver to complete at bids. What was it? 24 bids and $4,000. Down 30% from the 5.6K sale, which was the last legitimate sale prior to this one. And that was back on May 10th. So pretty nice drop for Mahomes there. Boy, who could have saw this one coming? Oh, wait. Yeah, Mahomes on the way down. I still think he has room to go. I still think even at 4K, Mahomes is extremely overvalued. The AFC is at, we've talked about this a ton. I'm just repeating myself. The AFC is absolutely loaded. Does he have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl this year? Yes. Is it a good chance? Personally, I don't think so. What happens to his prices when he doesn't make another Super Bowl? If they don't make the AFC Championship game? They're going to level way down again. And what does this season look like with no Tyreek Hill? I get it. Long term, they could bring in new people, do the whole thing. Shake the snow globe, if you will. But that's a long time between now and then, potentially. And I just don't see it. I really do not see it. The shine is beginning to come off. And like I said, he's a fantastic player. He is a blast to watch. But I think he is a victim of circumstance right now. Between that team starting to age a little bit and the rest of the AFC really leveling up. So very curious to see how Mahomes' prices go from here. Be very interested to see what his prices do around the National. We'll see if the shill bidding machine spins itself back up again to get some good fake comps going prior to going into the National. And that's something good to keep in mind. If there is specifically because the National is coming, if there is a player, maybe this justifies its own video, like tips for the National. If there's a player that you're interested in looking for, make sure you know their stuff cold, and make sure, especially if it's a key card like a 2017 Mahomes Prism, like if it's that player's main card that you're looking for and there's enough sales volume to look at this, I would look at those comps right before you go to the National and make sure they are legit, at least as best as you possibly can. I would not put it past people to do some chicanery around the National to get fake comps out there to use at the National. Keep that in mind. Just do a little extra due diligence there on Mahomes stuff or whatever, regardless of player that you're looking at, just to make sure that everything looks like it's on the up and up and that you're negotiating around a good number. And if you can't find a good number, then maybe that's just not the card for you this show. Move on to the next thing. So the other thing that I did was a little bit of a breakdown of football PSA 10s. I went Prism Select, Optic, Tops, and Tops Chrome. I included those in there because of I put Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers in here, and I wanted to get some of their rookie cards as well. And this is price movements by player. So this kind of groups all that players, and I went rookie card only, all their rookie cards from the sets that I selected in PSA 10 together. So it kind of gives you a macro look at that player's market movement over a certain period of time. In this case, I went 14 days on this one. I'm actually going to go back 30 days just for the hell of it. and kind of see what's been moving and shaking. So if you go back 30 days, you could see Hurts is actually up the most, along with Josh Allen, then Russell Wilson, then Lamar Jackson, and then Justin Herbert, up 2%. Now, once again, that is as a portfolio, not an individual card. One of his particular cards, maybe the Silver Prism, could be way up, but if something else is way down, it's going to counterbalance that. So it's not, completely perfect, but it gives you a nice macro version of what these players are doing. And like I said, I picked the main sets. I didn't do like NT or Flawless or anything wild and crazy like that. And then on the going down side, we have Aaron Rodgers down 4%, Dak Prescott down 4%, Joe Burrow down 5%, Baker, rip, down 6%, Tua down 7%, coming down from the Tyreek Hill buzz. Deshaun Watson down 10%, not surprising as the news has kind of gotten more negative on him recently as rumors circulate around how long his suspension is actually going to be. I won't necessarily buy his stuff, but there's probably going to be a decent buying opportunity at some point in time on Watson, because that Browns team, in theory, knock on wood, boy, tell me when you haven't heard this coming out of my mouth before, should be good. It's just a matter of how bad his suspension is going to be. Is it going to be 2 games, 4 games, 6 games, a whole season? I don't think anyone really knows. So, the fact that there's been so many wild speculation on his suspension also tells me that no one really knows. Everyone's just guessing on that. And then Patrick Mahomes, as previously discussed, down 17%. Whoops. Skipped Kyler Murray there, down 11%, as he's taken a little bit of a hit as well. Jalen Hurts getting the biggest bump, not surprising after the A.J. Brown trade. I'm surprised that Burrow is trending. That's the one that surprises me as a whole, that Burrow continues to trend down a little bit. I get it. People like Herbert better, but that's just interesting to me. I think the Bengals did a nice job improving that team this year. It just wasn't flashy moves. So that is where we sit, ladies and gentlemen. Curious for your thoughts. What are you guys and girls doing in the market right now? Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you paring down inventory? Are you waiting for deals to fall into your lap? Are you putting cash out there in the various collectibles? Just curious for your comments on that. We'll catch you guys and girls tomorrow once again for a Beckett video. We'll talk about them and their economy service opening back up again. After that, I have a little mini mail day / card show video to get out there. I had 2 cards. One you've seen, the CSG slab, and then I picked up a Justin Herbert about a week and a half ago at the local show. I just haven't done a video on it yet. And I also picked up a couple comic books. So it'll probably be a pretty quick mail day. But at some point in time, that will be coming this week as well. And I got a few other little things I'm percolating on. So that's all I have for you guys and girls. We will catch you on the next one. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, all that jazz. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.